We did a scavenger hunt and we sorted for living and non-living. And then we started talking about how plants are living things. Animals and plants are two different kinds of living things that we're really familiar with. No, they're not the only ones, but we're going to be talking about plants this year in third grade. So let's talk about how plants are living things. So we talked about all the characteristics of living things, right? Living things need energy. All living things need energy. Plants get their energy by absorbing nutrients and water from the soil through their roots and soaking up sunlight through their leaves. They use sunlight to make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Photo means light, synth means make, and esis or essis means process of. So that's your Latin lesson for today, third graders. Photosynthesis literally means the process of making something with light. What are they making with light? Their own food. So this diagram shows that, plus the fact that plants are taking in carbon dioxide through their leaves. That's what animals breathe out, and they're breathing out oxygen through their leaves. So they give us oxygen to breathe, and we give them carbon dioxide to breathe. It's one of the reasons that it actually does help your plants to talk to them. So that diagram shows all the way that plants are getting their nutrients through photosynthesis from the sun, through that process of taking in carbon dioxide and letting out oxygen through their leaves, and through soaking up water and also nutrients from the soil. We get our nutrients from eating food. Living things grow and change. All plants start out as seeds. The seeds germinate. Germinate is the process of the plants sprouting roots from the bottom and leaves and stems from the top. So as they germinate, when that happens, the roots grow down and a stem grows up and the leaves pop out from that, from what's called the embryo inside the seed. The plants grow larger, they grow leaves, and they usually develop some sort of flower and a fruit or a seed pod. So if you think about any kind of fruit or some of the things that we call vegetables that you've ever eaten, like an apple or an orange or a cucumber, there are seeds inside. That's why it's on the plant. That's going to grow new cucumber or apple or oranges. So living things reproduce. That means make more of themselves. But plants don't have babies like animals do. Plants reproduce by developing seeds in their fruits or their seed pods. If it's something that other animals can eat, we call it a fruit. And if they don't, we call them seed pods. That's the main difference. Insects and other small animals help this process by pollinating the flowers. We're going to talk more about that soon. Butterflies and bees are excellent pollinators, but lots of other things are too. Hummingbirds, um, bats, and lots of other kinds of small insects as well. And we'll talk more about what pollination is and how insects help soon. Living things respond to to their environment. That means that they change based on what's happening around them. If you remember the video from Living and Non-Living, they talked about when it's cold, we might shiver and snuggle our body parts close to ourselves to keep warm, and we would put on more clothes, right? Plants respond to their environment too. Plants grow towards sunlight and away from things that might be harmful to them. So sometimes you might see plants near a road growing away from the road because of the pollution that comes from the cars. Plants grow bigger and stronger when they have lots of sunlight and nutrients. They respond positively to a healthy environment. They wilt. Think of that word from chrysanthemum. They start to kind of droop, and their color might change to a yellow or brown color if they don't have enough water or nutrients or sunlight. They change based on their environment. And this was an interesting debatable point. And they talked about it in the video with a scavenger hunt. You may have heard in other sources that living things move. Well, not all living things move exactly, not in the same way that animals do, right? Plants don't get up and run away. They made that joke in the living and non-living video and the cartoon plant like scurrying away. We know that doesn't happen. They don't get up and move like animals, right? But they are able to adjust their positions as they grow. So I thought it'd be cool to see. Look in this picture, you can see some little plant sprouts growing towards a window. And if you've ever, you or your parents, or your grandparents, or your friends have plants near a window, you might notice that those plants stretch their leaves over time towards that source of light. Um, and if you catch it in time lapse, plants appear to dance. I think it's really cool to see, and I thought you might think so too. So in this video, we're going to see time lapse. That means speeded up photography of plants growing, changing, and appearing to dance. So here's germination. They're popping up out of the soil. There's little droplets of water on them. Stretching up, reaching out, soak up that sunlight. Catching all the nutrients from the sun to do photosynthesis. There they go. Try stretching out your arms like they're the leaves of a plant. Think of it as plant yoga. Feel the sun warming your plant leaves. Stretch. Have those tiny little fibers on them. A lot of plants feel that way. See if you can find prickly plants today or fuzzy ones. Look at it stretch. And we can't see it in real time. Oh, it's just popping out. That's the seed coat from the outside of the seed, that as the embryo sprouts out of the soil as a new baby plant, that seed coat is going to pop right off. Boop. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Really notice what's happening, what you're seeing. This changes over time. Ooh, purple basil. We'll talk about why some plants can be different colors. Keep your eyes wide for that as you look for plants today later. Notice though all that green. I'm interested to know what you know about that. So you can see that in the link in the slides. I'm linking this slideshow also along with this video if you want to look at that again or go back through the slides. But here's your assignment for today in science. I want you to see how many different kinds of plants you can find in and around your house. So some of you may have house plants in your house. I do. And then I imagine that even if your yard isn't all that large, you have some sort of plants nearby. So find some way to keep a record of that, just like we've done with our other scavenger hunts. You can draw them, you can write about them, you can take photos of them with a phone or a tablet or a camera. And we're going to share them in tomorrow's morning meeting discussion. Try to find an interesting plant that you think no one else will find. And we'll discuss how they're like and how they're different tomorrow in morning meeting.